My name is Kerry Brown, and I'm here with my good brother Clarence. How's it going, man?
It's going good, man. Going good. Bouncing back from a slight cold, but I'll be okay.
Oh, man, this pollen's been kicking my behind. It's been pretty bad.
Oh, dude. This weather change, it doesn't know if it wants to be warm and sunny or cold and rainy and dreary. It just keeps changing.
I'm just happy it's over 30 degrees for a sustained period of time, man. The winter here was pretty harsh, but
oh man, the snow ain't kicking your butt, man. Is it gone yet?
Oh yeah, the snow's gone. It's gone.
Is it gone for good? That's the question.
Well, until next December, at least. Yeah, I mean we're good for now. So you want to jump into it? Anything you want to discuss first, or how you want to do it? First,
I would like to say that, did you hear the news about all the Toys R Us stores closing?
Ah, yeah, I did.
Dude, it's the end of an era, man. I can't believe it. I was like, wow, Toys R Us closing? What?
But I read today though that some millionaire or billionaire is going to try to save it.
Oh, really? Yeah, man, it's like a staple of the 80s and 90s, man, and the fact that it's gone, man.
But, like, if I could be completely real for a second, I can't believe Toys R Us has lasted as long as it has, because it was always a place you wanted to go, but I don't ever remember buying anything out of Toys R Us. Like, ever. But I've gone there and just looked around, but
I've definitely bought things from Babies R Us before, so.
Yeah, I've done Babies R Us too, but it was a little depressing driving by the Babies R Us today and seeing the sign, because my wife was like, "Is it both? Is it just Toys R Us? Or is it Babies R Us?" Yep, it's both.
It really is both. Oh man,
yes, it is.
End of an era, man. End of an era,
indeed. Okay, so first, let's talk about some politics stuff.
Politics, kind of. Yeah.
Okay, so.
Do you want to dive down that road?
Why not? YOLO. Okay, so Cambridge Analytica. How much do you know about Cambridge Analytica?
I know they do some type of election statistics for targeting certain demographics for ads as it relates to politics and elections. Yeah,
so basically what they came up with some kind of algorithm, I guess. So they pay for all of the massive personal information and behaviors and sites and comments and stuff that you like on Facebook. They put all that, basically effectively, they put all that stuff in a big pot, and then they shake it around, and then it's like, bam, your personality profile. So it knows.
Okay.
So they can basically profile anybody on Facebook, and by using this data, they can figure out what ads you're more susceptible to. So they can, target people politically. That's kind of what they were doing. So in 2016, the Trump campaign, they hired Cambridge Analytica to take over their data operations. So they were mining Facebook, and they were targeting people based on their psychological profiles. And apparently they were like doing a lot of ads, and basically what it did was it allowed them to develop these, like we were saying, these sophisticated profiles and for internet users, and they could determine which messages were affecting people. So, I guess a simple way to explain this would be like if you liked a barbecue article, and you liked a gun article, and you liked something else, but you're not necessarily
demographic.
So yeah, basically based on the stuff that you like, they know which political ads to target toward,
to push your button, so to speak.
Yeah, and which when you consider, like, for most people it's not a big thing, but you have these swing states, like Pennsylvania was one of them, and
Ohio.
Like something, and Ohio as well. Like something like this could like definitely influence the election. Like, I'm not here to bash Trump, like, or their politics, or say they're hacking or anything. I'm just giving you information of what happened. If it offends you, or if it makes you like, I told you, whatever, like that has nothing to do with me. I'm just offering the information.
Well, the thing is, I think the bigger thing here is that of course, like Barack was the first one to kind of push the whole internet, I guess, social media type of election. And, I don't think there's anything wrong with Trump's people doing it, but I think the issue here is that the information that Cambridge Analytica obtained was obtained against Facebook's policy. So I think that's the only real issue here.
But I mean, that's true. But the thing is, like, they were looking at these messages and they could see where the rah Trump messages were like resonating with people. Yeah. And then he would go visit there. So like I mean, yes, they violated Facebook's terms, but it's just really, really, like, in some ways, like, I have to admit, it's really, really smart.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I don't blame them. That's how it's definitely going. But again, like, the way they obtained information, because I believe they had somehow with the Facebook APIs, they had a wide open hose for educational type things. And I think that's what led to them getting a lot of the information. The people who did the survey was an educational company, or I need to read up on the specifics, but that data was not supposed to be given away, or when they cut off the fire hose, they shouldn't have given that information to a third party company. I think that's where the actual violation comes into play. But that being said, it is kind of scary that you can be targeted to such a distinct level of the things you like, but it's how things are going. Ads are the same way. Non-political ads are very much the same way, to where they're targeting things that they know you like, you love, and it makes sense, but still, like you said, kind of scary.
Yeah, and another thing I want to call out is that a lot of people are freaking out that they had the ability to do this. And like you were saying, part of that is because they had access to things that they shouldn't have had access to. And that's not necessarily their fault. That's Facebook's fault.
Yeah.
Because there were APIs apparently, or something that was open to them that shouldn't have been. But the other thing that people need to realize is that you are not a client of Facebook.
Yeah.
You are a product. Anything you put on Facebook can be used to sell or to make money for Facebook. You get benefits out of this. You get to connect with all your friends. You got a place to store your photos. You can, update your friends on your latest happenings, and all that stuff's all nice and good. But don't forget that any company that does this for free, any company that gives you their service for free, you are the product. They're selling you to advertisers.
Nothing is ever free.
Do not forget that. Like, a lot of people are freaking out. Like, there's like this campaign on Twitter, this delete Facebook thing. Somebody challenged Elon Musk to like delete his profile and delete the Tesla and the SpaceX profiles, and he did it. So like, he deleted himself off of Facebook. I thought that was interesting.
I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, is the justification for deleting yourself from Facebook, is it real? I mean, I know we're saying that Facebook are making so many mistakes, which they are, but can you blame them? They're kind of blazing the trail in this area. Yeah. But by the same token, delete Facebook, really? I think Leo Laporte is doing the same thing. He's deleting.
Oh, he's doing a delete Facebook? Yeah. Well, see, that's my thing. It's like, like Leo's another story for me. Like, that dude is so conceited. Is that the right word?
Yeah. I know
like he actually thought he could get people to stop saying podcast. Like he actually thought that he could do that. So like, maybe he's just riding the coattails. And part of this is, it's valid. But to me, in my opinion, the reasons to delete Facebook that are valid now were valid 10 years ago. Like, this is nothing new. Like, they've been doing this forever. So,
well, I put it like this: there's a lot worse companies out there that you should not be purchasing / going to, that have done very much more horrendous things than give away some ad data. And we go along with those companies like nothing has happened. So I'm going to say that, if you want to be a warrior for this cause, that we're going to delete Facebook, there are far worse things.
Get a dumb phone, because like Google and Apple know everywhere you go. They know everywhere you stop. And it's really like cumbersome to turn that kind of stuff off because it's funny now. I hop in my car after work and it's like Google whatever is pulling up my directions for home, telling me how long it's going to take me, telling me about the traffic. And part of that is cool, but if you put your tinfoil hat on, it's like they know exactly where I am at all times, and that can be a little scary, even if you're not doing anything wrong. You know, kind of like the Alexa thing or the Echo thing. It's like I'm not perform any illegal activity in my home, but I don't necessarily want my Echo listening to everything I say, which my webcam's actually propped up on and it's not plugged up right now. So
yeah, man, I will say every time I go somewhere, like for instance, a few minutes ago, I was at Slim Chickens.
We have one of those here. I was wondering if it's any good. Is that any good?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah, but you know, I go there and while I'm in the drive-thru, I look at my phone and lo and behold, do you want to review Slim Chickens? And it happens everywhere I go. Everywhere I go, it happens, man. It's just kind of annoying, dude. It's really annoying.
It is. It happens to me too. They ask me to like take pictures of my food and stuff. It's so weird. Would you like to add a picture to Google whatchamacallit?
I do that sometimes. I do that.
Well, yeah, I do too. You know, I was a big food selfie person back in the day, but just my phone asking me to take one just weirds me out like so much. But
yeah.
Oh,
awesome times.
And I just thought of something else that kind of goes along with this.
What you got?
You know that I'm gonna see if I can find an article for it, but Elon Musk and I can't remember what company, but he's gonna start a low orbit satellite network for internet. And low latency gigabit satellite internet. This idea has been around for a while, but I think it's about to start. Oh, actually, the Falcon 9 launch, they launched the first satellites.
See, I heard some people doing this. I can't remember which company name, but they were doing it. And they kind of like got in trouble because they didn't get regulation before they actually.
Oh, yeah. Well, they got permission. He got permission from NASA or FC's. I'm not sure who he needs to get permission from, but they definitely got permission. They're going to be launching a bunch of satellites, like 4,000 satellites in low Earth orbit between, let me make sure I get this right, between 684 miles and 823 miles above us. So like this is pretty high.
I wonder how proven this technology is. Is it?
But apparently the first 800 satellites are already up there.
Really?
Yeah. And gigabit satellite Ethernet for the masses. Like this dude is doing he is the real like Tony Stark.
Is this in use or is he kind of just testing it right now?
I think they're just testing it. But he made a joke. He was like, which made me think of this. He made a joke. He was like, I promise you we're not going to call it Skynet.
Oh, gosh.
Which I thought was pretty funny.
Good old Elon.
But I just like this dude's like he's doing things, man. He's trying to change the world. He's not just trying to make money. I'm sure he's doing it to make money too, but he's literally changing the world, literally.
Yeah, which if you got the money and you got the I guess vision in this case, go for it, man. Go for it.
Yeah.
And it's Boring Company, which is I don't know about that one.
The Boring Company?
You heard about that? Digging tunnels under Los Angeles?
You mean like boring, not boring.
The Boring Company. That's
BORE.
Hey, he made that joke when he announced it on Twitter. You know.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. Good old Elon. So let's talk a little bit about Apple, man.
Okay. Right
Apple is trying to win back the students and teachers with low-cost iPads. So I don't know if you heard that Apple announced an event. Did you hear about that?
I did not.
Okay, I think the event is Chicago, but let me get it straight. Event this Tuesday at Lane Technical College Prep High School in Chicago. Will mark the first time Apple has held a product launch event geared toward education since 2012. So there are rumors that they're going to be introducing a low-cost iPad. I don't see any prices on this article.
Oh my God.
This is a Bloomberg article that I'm reading. But do we need a low-cost iPad?
Steve Jobs is turning in his grave right now.
What?
Like, this goes against everything he was about. He was all about not making a budget product. But I get it. They want a piece of that Chromebook, Microsoft Windows 10s. They want a piece of that pie. So I understand why they're doing it. But Steve Jobs would not like this at all.
Well, that's the thing, man. Like, it's so hard for Microsoft. Do you think Microsoft would be primed to get into the education market? But dude, I mean, I think we've talked about this before. Like, we've moved to the Microsoft stuff at my job, the Office 365 stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, but the Google stuff is just way easier. It's just it works better. And then you have Apple coming in here, and to move over to Mac, I think is often an expensive endeavor. So okay,
That's true.
We're to come with cheaper iPads. Maybe that's a shoe in, but the Chromebooks are pretty much killing it now. Easy to use, instant on, easy to provision for the IT companies out there that are handling all this, or the school infrastructure. So I don't know if they can make them cheap. I think it could be okay, but like, don't you think once you get past like the 6th grade, iPad is pretty much not going to be a good tool unless you have a keyboard?
I mean, once you learn to type, you're not doing any kind of like, it's going to be really hard to do schoolwork.
But they have the keyboard with the Pro, though. They have the keyboard.
Well, yeah, I guess. But it's just funny you mentioned the Chromebook, because I just thought back to like 2008 when like the netbook was like taking off.
Yeah.
Around 2000, it was somewhere around there. I'm not gonna look it up, but it's like Microsoft could have had this market like in the palm of its hand.
Yeah.
But the mistake they made was trying to put full Windows on that low powered laptop.
Oh boy. Yeah.
If they would have cut it down then, they would own this market.
Dude, I'm so tired of seeing failed Microsoft experiments, man. Do you remember it's not the UMBC. They had a small computer that was like on a handheld device back in the day.
You mean Windows CE?
It wasn't CE. It was like full blown Windows.
It was like a Palm Pilot type thing, but it was full Windows. Is that what you're talking about?
Full Windows.
Yeah, that was Windows. I'm pretty sure that was Windows CE.
But it's like they keep having these failed experiments, and then they try to come in too late to jump into a market, and it's just like they're always the day late and the dollar short. It seems like. Yeah,
it's Windows CE. I'll send you a link. I think that's what you're talking about, though. Anyway, but yeah, they have all these grand ideas, and even Google does this too. Like, Google throws so many ideas out, and the execution is not always the best. Uh-huh. And somewhere down the line, somebody will take one of those ideas and actually make something pretty awesome out of it. I'll give you a good example. Which this has kind of come full circle, but the whole containers thing. Uh-huh. Like, they didn't invent containers, but they've been using containers for like a decade. And their container management, or their swarm, whatever you want to call it, management for multiple containers, called Kubernetes. Like, they've been using this like forever. But then Docker came out, and then containers blew up.
Yeah.
And then you had Docker Compose, I think was the name of their container management tool. But now they've integrated back into Kubernetes. So, I guess that one worked out for them. But I guess when you're that big of a company, though, it's kind of hard to develop something like as far as you can develop it when you have all this other stuff. You got all these irons in the fire. So it's like, what do I utilize? What do I spend my time on? Do I spend it on my staples, or do I keep trying to develop this thing that may or may not pan out?
Yeah, I mean, but you want to lead, man. And I don't know if it's that they just lack vision, which, as many smart people as Microsoft has, they have to have some vision over there. But I think they often see they either go in this direction that nobody wants, or they jump into the frying pan way too late. And it's just disappointing, man. I don't know. Oh, what I was talking about, I was talking about the ultra mobile PCs. Do you remember those?
Ultra mobile PC?
Yeah, they were like these Windows PCs that were like on these real small devices.
Oh, yeah, I do remember those. You're right. I do remember those.
They didn't take off, obviously.
Like a Game Boy or something.
Yeah,
but it was,
that was a thing, man.
Yes, something. Yeah, I remember those now. Yeah. man, there's been some fails, like the Newton.
Yeah.
There's been some fails.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess you do have to throw some things at the wall to see what sticks, but come on, man. Very disappointing, sir.
Indeed.
So, man, have you heard any news coming out of what is the Game Developers Conference this week? Was it this week or last week?
I believe it was last week.
Oh,
But no, I can't remember. I think it was last week or this week. But I think it was last week. But anyway, yeah, the thing that I posted, there's another thing that popped in my head, but the thing that I posted was the Atari box has now evolved into the Atari VCS. I believe is the name of it now.
VCS console prototype. Okay.
Yeah, they demoed their non-working console prototype, which looks like it has an Xbox controller. It looks like an Xbox controller with new plastic stamped on the front. Like,
yeah. What are you doing? And
it looks like this thing will be able to play classic arcade games and PC games.
Now that could make it interesting depending on what level of PC games it could play. But number one, I don't see this being a reasonable price if it's going to play any decent PC. It's $100.
$300.
Oh, it's going to be horrible. And I mean, I'm basing it purely off graphic card prices right now. And I don't think, even though this is, of course, custom hardware build, I don't think you're going to be able to play any decent game on this thing. And do we know if it's going to support Steam? Like, what is going to be the back end services for it?
Well, I don't think it's going to support Steam. I would be very, very surprised if it did. What I would think was it's probably going to be something like what was it little console called? The Ookla?
The Ouya?
The Ouya, yeah. I was thinking it was going to be something like that where it had its own little store.
So like mobile games.
Perhaps be a little better, more powerful than the Ouya, because the Ouya was like $100. And then had like an Android store or something.
Yeah, it's going to be like mobile games. I'm betting this. No.
Yeah, it's just PC games. But I mean, one thing I will say though is this could work if they had.
How so, sir?
So $300, Xbox $300, PS4 $300. Okay, so their cost is about par for what a gaming console is. But I mean, the other thing you have to think about is if they have their own store and whatever PC games they pick, they actually tailor them toward the hardware, or they optimize them toward the hardware, and they don't make it to where you can just download any PC game to it. They have a store, like a Xbox store or something, and they can actually optimize the games to the hardware. I think this could work. The only thing...
Are you playing devil's advocate right now?
Yeah, I am. I'm just saying, like, if they tailor to the hardware, I would like to know what it's running on.
Yeah.
But if it's running on anything close to what the PS4 or the Xbox is,
it's possible.
This is totally doable. Because, I mean, if it's x86, it's already got one leg up. They just need to optimize the binaries to the hardware. And I mean, if you think about it, that's all that the Xbox and PS4 are doing with PC games. They're just optimizing them for the hardware. Is it going to run at 60 frames a second and 1440p? No, probably not. But you also get your dose of nostalgia because it has the classic joystick controller as well.
Well, that's the other thing. Like how I mean, who is the market for an Atari branded anything?
Exactly.
And go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's what I was thinking. The exact same thing. Because it's like these games aren't the Atari games anyway. It's not like they're that graphically demanding. I mean, you could run these things on a cell phone. Like half of a cell. Like you can run these things. Most of those games will probably run on a Nokia like candy bar phone from the late 90s.
Totally agreed.
They have to have some kind of interesting spin on it, and I'm not seeing it yet.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'll still be watching this closely because once they actually start showing some games, and who knows, maybe they'll have some modernized Atari modern classics. So, and it's coming out spring 2018, so we don't have that much longer to wait.
We don't have that much longer to wait to be disappointed, I guess. It might be okay. It might be okay.
The only thing that worries me is that this thing is launching, or the main thing I'll say, this thing is launching this quarter, or next quarter, I'm sorry. It's still March. But it's launching next quarter, and they don't even have any footage or anything that they're showing. They're just showing a console. So that's a little worrying, to say the least.
Hold your breath, folks.
Okay. Now that I have mentioned that I had something else to talk about from GDC, I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, well, I got something while you're waiting.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I don't know if this is GDC or it may have been some other article that popped up, but HTC is dropping the price of the Vive to $499, as well as debuting their new Pro headset. Now, they're going to be selling the headset only for the Pro. You don't get any controllers, none of the with the room sensors. You don't get any of that. It's just the headset, and it is going to cost $799. What do you think about that, Gary?
The old Tesla effect. I mean, this is exactly what they need to do. This is exactly how they're going to get this mainstream, because when the Vive was $800, the hardcore people bought it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's been a couple years, so now the prices, they've been able to cut the price down. Now it's only $500, which is a huge drop, So now that $800 tier is the Vive Pro, which the mainstream people aren't going to buy, but the people that had a Vive like 2 or 3 years ago, they're going to jump all over this. They've already, they've been waiting for this. Definitely. So again, it's going to trickle down in a couple of years, and then the Vive Super Pro 2, or whatever you call it,
EX edition. I mean, the only disappointing thing about this to me is that it's not bundled with controllers and the sensors. That's a little disappointing that they would exclude that from the list.
Well, one thing I will say is that it has OLED displays, and the OLED is not cheap. It's just not.
Yes, agreed.
They're 1400 by 1600 per eye. So we're getting that resolution bump, because on the original Vive, if you've used it, you know that there's kind of a screen door effect, because the pixels are you can see the space in between the pixels. So when you're a little kid and you're at grandma's house and you put your face up to the screen door and you saw the lines.
Oh, that's what that means.
Yeah, that's what that means. So it's like, that's basically what it looks like if you keep it on for a long time. And some people notice it right away. Like, I was able to notice it right away, but it also depends on what game you're playing. You also have the headphones built in.
Yeah.
And you also have 2 cameras on the front, where you can see like what's happening in reality, so you don't like run into the desk or something. They've actually made some pretty decent improvements to the headset. And again, one reason they're not bundling the controllers, at least from my opinion, one reason they're not bundling all the controllers is that the people that are going to buy this already have them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you could argue that maybe if somebody was jumping in, they would want this. But the thing is, like, if they did that, the bundle would be like $1,200.
Yeah, true. I mean, I think it's fine.
I don't think it would be any cheaper than buying the original Vive
and buying it separately.
It would probably cost exactly the same, which is probably why
that makes sense. But
I would assume.
Yeah, I do like that they're hitting every price point. And to me, that's, like you mentioned up top, that's really important if they want to get it out there to the masses and get more people actually using the devices. Driving that price down ever so slightly, because this is not going to be $799 for the next 4 years. They're going to lower the price on it, and they're going to lower the price on the cheaper one, and hopefully keep it in production. So, yeah, I mean, they're building an ecosystem, and as long as they keep innovating, I think I'm fine with it. And hopefully it'll get to the price where one day somebody like me can actually own a Vive.
Yeah, the Vive's pretty awesome.
Are you still down on VR?
I mean, it's one of those things where it's cool. Like, it's definitely cool, but the thing is, you get it and you play it for about a month, and then there's like you're not getting that steady flow of titles that you would get with like the PC or the Xbox or or the PS4 or something. Like there's no steady stream of AAA quality titles. There's definitely lots of stuff to play. A lot of it's hit or miss, but there are some real gems. So, I mean, it's getting there. You know, I wouldn't be opposed to revisiting it, especially now that you can find a secondhand Vive or a secondhand Rift for like $300, like with the controllers and everything.
Yeah.
If you look hard enough. So, I mean, it definitely bears a revisit, I would say. It's been about a year and a half, maybe, since I had mine. So
cool beans. So what else we got on the docket here, sir? Do we have one more story here?
So have you played you played PUBG, right?
Yeah,
and Fortnite.
We streamed a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, so this past week apparently it's been the Mobile Wars because
Mobile Wars 2018.
in this past week there's been a release which Fortnite, you need to let me know if Fortnite's on the Android store, because if it is, I can send you an invite. Because I got some invite codes for it.
Ah, cool.
I've been playing Fortnite and PUBG on mobile.
Oh, and mobile off.
Yeah, and it's really, really interesting. Both of the mobile games versions of this game are surprisingly playable.
Now they're both the Unreal Engine, correct?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Well, I know that Fortnite is. I'm pretty sure. I'm imagining.
I think they're both.
PUBG one is as well.
Yeah.
The funny thing to me about PUBG is that I feel like it's better optimized than the PC version is.
Oh, really?
Which is hilarious to me.
Wow.
There's some free to play stuff in there, especially in the PUBG one where you can, buy certain items, cosmetic items anyway. And it's really, really interesting. I was still getting my butt kicked. But another thing about PUBG Mobile is that they put bots in the game. So I don't know if you can turn the bots off or do a local game, or I'm not sure how that works. I think you can actually boot up a local game on your phone and not even have other people playing and just play with 99 bots. I believe that's possible. As far as
is it crossplay as well?
No, I don't think PUBG is. I know that Fortnite is. You can do PC, Xbox, mobile crossplay on Fortnite.
That's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, I was surprised like how how decent the controls were. I thought they would be horrible, but they're really not that bad. So it's not gonna be a keyboard and mouse. Let's just get that out of the way. It's not gonna be a controller.
Well, let me say this: like PUBG and Fortnite a little less so, but PUBG is hard to play that game with a real controller. With a controller, you're mapping the buttons to what you want it to be. It's still hard to play that game. Fortnite, they've kind of optimized it since it's on the console as well. Was launched on the console simultaneously. It kind of had that DNA built into it early on. But PUBG, I don't know, man. I just cannot see playing that game on mobile.
I would have to see if there's auto aim, because it seems to be, I mean, I'm not going to say easier, but it doesn't seem as bad as you would think, to aim on it. You can zoom, so again, you're not going to get keyboard and mouse, precision with this, but you're sitting at a bus stop or wherever you got a couple minutes to kill. I mean, it's actually a really good idea, and they're definitely worth checking out. So I guess if you didn't know, you can download PUBG now. It's free. With Fortnite, I don't know if Fortnite is on Android. It should be. But if it is, or if you have iOS, definitely check that out and sign up and get on the list, because with PUBG launching here in the United States, like this past week, I would imagine that they're going to pull that out of beta pretty fast. So, stay tuned.
Cool beans. And man, I don't think we talked about the main story we were going to talk about. I forgot about it, kind of.
Oh, yes.
This is pretty sad. We kind of hinted at this last week when we were talking about, was it the big rigs that were getting debuted in Atlanta to be self-driving, and they were going to haul some of the stuff for Google services. And lo and behold, like this last week, somebody was actually killed from a self-driving vehicle. And many of my thoughts that I had last week about, this being the end or the beginning of the end, it seems like it's been more tempered. Is it the right tempered than I thought it would be? But they've released some of the footage and it doesn't look good.
Yeah. It doesn't look good at all. Like this lady's, her name's what is her name? Elaine Herzberg. May she rest in peace. Like, the Uber car, the self-driving car is just rolling and, it's dark and there's like no way a human would be able to see this. I mean, I don't think if it was a human driving this car that they could have stopped in time because as fast as the car was going and when you see the lady come up on the screen, like there was no way they would have been able to stop. So
not human driver, but the thing. I was going to say that the thing that gets me about this, I don't know what technology the Uber cars are using. I know LiDAR is probably the most prevalent among the self-driving vehicles. Again, I don't know exactly what the Uber driverless cars are using, but even so, in complete pitch blackness, I think it should have been able to see this woman.
Yeah, I mean, if they have like infrared sensors and all that stuff, it definitely should have been able to see her. One thing I will say before I get into my second point is that I feel like this kind of spurs me to think that in addition to on camera, on our own vehicle sensors, they need to be putting something up like on light poles or something to like scan these roads, so they can get another vantage point just to see what's happening. Maybe that's a little too big brother for people, but if I'm going to have unmanned cars driving down the road, I would be okay with something else, some other angle of the sensor not coming from the car. So if the car is speeding over a hill where it can't see anything because it's a car and cameras and sensors, like, to me, it would only make sense to have something above at the top of the hill on a light pole or whatever that could see what else is happening.
Yeah, possibly.
But it depends on how powerful these sensors are. I don't know anything about self-driving cars, so.
But I could have sworn that LiDAR had the ability to, because I think LiDAR works off of sending pulses. So I thought it didn't matter if it was dark or light outside. It would still be able to.
So it's like echolocation or something?
I think so. It's been a few years since I looked at the tech, but I need to go back and brush up on it for the next podcast. But I think it should have been able to see this woman. But make no mistake. If this had been a human driver in this same exact situation, there would be no way in the world they would have been able to stop. I just don't see it. Maybe they.
So did you watch all the footage?
Yes, I saw the one.
Actually, the person sitting in the car. Like all of these, I didn't know this. All these unmanned cars that they're testing, there's an actual person sitting in them in case something crazy happens. So they can stop the car. And I agree with you. There's no way. Like if she was paying attention, I don't think she could have stopped this car. But the fact that she was looking down and doing something else exactly when it happened, it just It was just, it's just that all around, man. Like I would hate to be that lady,
but
she didn't kill this woman.
No,
but she probably feels like she did.
But I say even take the whole self-driving situation out of it. If it had just been somebody driving in that car alone, they would hit the woman too. I really feel that from the footage we saw. One of the good things about this is that no good things really, but we do have a cavalcade of sensor statistics and footage if something like this does happen,
the black box. Yeah.
It's never, what happened? We didn't see it. No, you're going to see it. You're going to see exactly what happened. But that being said, they have to do something with these sensors to where they can see people in the dark. I would hope that wouldn't be the issue here, but it seems like the technology should have been able to see that woman in the dark.
Agreed. It was just like, it was terrible, man. Like,
yeah. Because quite literally in that video, you do not see that woman until she is right in front of the car.
Yeah.
So
she's like in the shadow of a tree or something. Or I guess it's not a tree. She's in the shadows.
In the middle of the road.
She's in the middle of the road the whole time. Like in the beginning of the video, she's in the middle of the road. You just don't see her because of the shadow.
Yeah, it's pitch black. It's like no street lights where this woman is. Pitch black. So I don't know. Sad.
It's just unfortunate.
I mean, what do you think this holds for self-driving cars, though? What do you think the future is? Do you think I know Uber pulled all their self-driving tech off the roads, and I think was it some other company did the same. It may have been Ford or somebody.
The only thing that worries me about this is that if you have a car that nobody's driving and it hits somebody and kills them, who's responsible? Who's at fault?
Oh, well, I mean,
like that is the shaky thing about this, because you have the policeman or the police chief for wherever this is happening in Arizona who is saying that they don't think Uber is at fault. She's saying that, or he or she, I can't remember which one, there was a human in the car, so we shouldn't be looking at the technology. But
definitely not.
If I would have been driving that car, I would have hit that lady. Yeah, because there's no way that person would have saw him, even if they were looking.
Well, I mean, I think it's going to be a few things. I think at first, insurance is going to get astronomical when these cars first start coming out. If you own one, I think the insurance is going to be very expensive. But maybe in the next 40 or 50 years, when there's 75% of these cars on the road, and maybe like 100, 120 years, when there's 75% of these cars on the road, I think it'll balance out, and it's going to be less deaths because of cars, you would hope. And that will eventually bring the insurance down as well. So it's going to be, I'm not going to say a learning curve, but it's going to be a while before we can adapt to this new crazy future.
And I mean, you can't stop innovation. Think about, I mean, the only thing I can think of that I can even like equate or parallel to this would be the development of aircraft. There used to be, like, even in the 80s, there were so many plane crashes.
Yeah,
I mean, you would hear about plane crashes every day, every couple days, every week.
Now you barely hear about it.
We lost some amazing musicians to aircraft crashes.
Yes.
And it's like,
especially small engine aircraft. Yeah. And
it's like, now flying is the safest way to travel. Like, I mean, flying is safer than riding a bike down the street.
Yeah.
Statistically.
Yeah.
So it's like, like you were saying, the technology just needs to mature, and it's not going to be quick or easy. So I mean, I just hope that they keep working in it.
Well, let's play a little mind game here. Take yourself back 100 years, probably somewhere about in there 100 years. And when cars first started being prevalent on the road, I have to imagine when the first person got killed in an automobile accident, people were like, oh my God, we're going back to horses. We cannot have cars. This is just too dangerous. People are dying out here in these tin can contraptions or whatever. So, I think
you can't stop progress, man.
Yeah. But the human factor does make it hurt a little bit more, because there's no, you know what I'm saying? There's nobody in that vehicle, you know?
Yeah. There's no way around it. It's really, really sad, especially for that family. I mean, obviously for the lady that got hit, but I'm saying the family is like who, like even forget the law, forget liability, forget all that. Like, if that happened to one of my loved ones, it's like, I wouldn't even know who to be mad at. You know, like that's the thing that scares me about this, is that, with a car, at least, if somebody hits you, you idiot, you ran a red light or something. But with this, it's like, do you blame the programmer? Do you blame the designer? Do you blame the CEO? Like, who do you blame?
Yeah, I'm a spitball right here. And then maybe this is not a good idea, but I'm just spitballing. Maybe until we perfect the tech, because there's only a few states that are actually allowing these trials to go on. So I think until maybe we can perfect the tech, we maybe should, I'm not going to say dowry, or we should have some type of fund that is set aside for people who may die in these accidents. Now, I don't want that to lead to people jumping out in front of these cars just so they just so their family can get money.
I'm about to get paid.
But I think there needs to be some type of fund set aside in case something like this does happen, because it's going to happen. I mean, unfortunately, it happened. We just hope we can limit those events from occurring.
I'll tell you, one place they're probably not testing self-driving cars.
Where?
China. Did you know that if you hit somebody in China, you have to pay their medical bills for the rest of their life?
I did not know that, but I do now.
And the thing about it is, it's gotten so bad there. Like, I'll have to see some articles. You just made me think of this, that there have been people that hit somebody and they back over them to kill them so they wouldn't have to pay. So they would not have to pay for all their medical bills.
Oh, man. That is sad, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty horrible. So I don't, yeah.
Don't drive in China. That's what I take from that.
That's pretty bad.
Wow.
I guess it's neither here nor there, but I just thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
Are we done?
Yeah, I think we're done, man. You have anything you want to plug, podcast related or otherwise?
I don't have anything to plug. Just say stay tuned. Dragon Ball Super, last episode tomorrow.
Last episode, period, or
last episode?
Already?
The series is ending.
What?
It's 131 episodes.
That was quick. I must have found out about it too late.
Twice as long as GT. Yeah, it's been on for like 3 years, man. It's been going for a while.
So, well, I have to ask you, Mr. Anime Person, any other Akira Toriyama back properties or anything in the Dragon Ball world coming up?
One thing I will say is that they released a trailer or teaser trailer for the new Dragon Ball Super movie that's coming out this December, and let me tell you, it got me hype. Like,
is it going to be like the previous movies were in the story, or is it going to be like after Super?
It's a direct continuation after the end of the Tournament of Power, which is what ends tomorrow.
Oh, so
the movie's going to take place shortly after the end of Dragon Ball Super. And now they say the series is ending, but I would imagine, as popular as it's been, if this movie sells like gangbusters or whatever, just like the original DB Dragon Ball movies that came out it's been forever ago, 3 or 4 years ago when Battle of Gods came out. But those movies did so well, that's what got Dragon Ball Super made.
Yeah,
was those 2 movies, Revival of Frieza and Battle of Gods. So I would imagine that if the movie does well and people are still buzzing, that, there's a good possibility we may see more Dragon Ball in the future. But
it's so funny, man. It's so funny to be back at peak Dragon Ball in 2018.
20 years later.
The game that came out, the game is doing gangbusters. We're back at peak Dragon Ball, which is just crazy to think.
Yeah, it's like 20 years ago, man. We were watching like the end of the Namek saga and hoping that we would see Goku fight Jason Barter, and then it just goes all the way back to the beginning. Like, I still remember that like it was yesterday. Like, no, not again.
Yeah.
But yes, it's
gotta love the 90s, man.
Not just Dragon Ball, but that whole industry is just like soared. Crunchyroll, man. Crunchyroll started out as like a bootleg anime stream site. And now they are licensing properties and simulcasting with air times in Japan. Yeah. Which is about as amazing as you can even get, I feel like. That's just amazing to me. It blows my mind.
Yeah, at the anime convention here in Jackson a couple weeks back, J. Michael Tatum was there, and I don't know none of the characters he voices, but he voices a bunch of them. And also Johnny Bosch was voiced Stampede, and a few more characters. But anyway, the J. Michael Tatum guy was particularly talking about how he writes some of the episodes. I forget which series he was talking about. It may have been Attack on Titan, because I think he does the Attack on Titan translations.
Attack on Titan, okay.
Yeah, and he was talking about like, previously, he had forever to write them, but now they're releasing them like a week after they come out in Japan. So he has like a week to translate the script and actually write the script for the American translation. He says it's so crazy now in the world of voice acting. It's a totally different ball game. It's just interesting hearing them talk about that. I was really shocked.
Yeah, it is. I'll have to send you the link, but the original voice of Vegeta, Brian Drummond, like the first Vegeta voice, there was actually an episode of Dragon Ball Super where Vegeta had this evil clone. So like Chris Sabat is like the voice director of the American version. So he invited him back, the original voice of Vegeta, Brian Jones. He invited him back to do the voice of the clone, and it was awesome.
So awesome, dude.
they interviewed him. He had his interview on a podcast where he talked about all that and talked about how he got into voice acting and stuff. I haven't seen that. It's worth a listen.
Okay, I have to watch Super just for that because that is freaking awesome, dude.
I'll send you the clip of the commercial, dude. It's awesome. Like, that whole episode was cool. I didn't even like the commercial. I mean, I didn't even like the episode when I watched it in Japanese, but just the fact that they had Overjeet on it, I enjoyed the American version. It's like 2 or 3 episodes.
Oh, wow. That is cool. Phenomenal, dude. All right. Well, yeah, just for me, if you want to check out anything I'm doing, I'm just going to pimp one thing today. Check out the Discussing Comics YouTube channel, which you can find at youtube.discussingcomics.com. We're trying to do a push to get our subscribers up over there. So, yeah, check that out, and we'll appreciate your subscription. Anything else, man?
Oh, no, that's it, man. Just check us out next week. We will be back.
Cool beans.
Peace.
Very, very quick. Techpedition. Very, very quick. Techpedition. Very, very quick. Techpedition. Very, very quick. Techpedition.
I can't beat that. I just smells burnt and dusty.
Hey guys, don't miss an episode of the Techpedition Podcast. For more information, go to techpedition.com/subscribe. TECHPEDITION.com.